Back to Same Bright Fashion Academy YouTube channel for another interesting tutorial. In this class, I'll be teaching you how to make this trendy, structured, exaggerated puff sleeve. As you are seeing right there on the thumbnail and here on the dress form, this sleeve is actually trending and is everywhere on Instagram. So I'll be teaching you how to achieve this perfectly, okay? So this is the puff, as you can see. So if this is what you want to learn in this class, I will encourage you to stay to the end of this tutorial to learn more. Thank you. And I'll be showing you how to go about this sleeve. So I'll be using my 3-inch crinoline for this sleeve. I'll be using my hat stay, as you can see, or collar stay. Then I'll be using my dolphin satin fabric right here. Okay, so to start off this tutorial, I'm going to fold my fabric to cut out the sleeve itself. So the sleeve I'm cutting out now. I'm just using the remaining piece of my fabric I have. So I'll just fold it by 2. So I folded it by 2, as you can see. So the next thing I want to do is to create my border line. So I'm creating my border line right here. But before you create your border line, I believe you are seeing this chalk. Okay, so it's actually looking very light at that point. So let me just change this to the tailor's chalk that you can see because of this fabric. So I'm using this one. So on this line, I'm going to measure 13 inches. Okay, or I can make it 15 inches, including my seam allowance. Alright, so I'll push it in a little bit, so I'll have this sleeve at 15 inches, including my seam allowance. That is, when I place it on fold, I measured 15 inches because it's actually exaggerated. And here I'm going to take my measurements of my sleeve at 12 and half. Okay, so this is it at 12 and half. So I'm going to create that. So I'm creating my line. So I have a square right here. That's what I actually did here. So now I'm going to step down by 4.5 inches as usual. So this is my 4.5 inches, and at this 15 inches I'll find the mid point. So this is my mid point. So at this point I'm going to mark out my sleeve. You can see how I'm marking it to meet up with this line, and I'll come in this way to create this sleeve. Okay, so I don't actually have enough fabric right here. If not, I will advise you make this sleeve longer to 15 inches. Okay, so you can make it longer to 15 inches, but for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm working with what I have right here. So I'm going to cut my sleeve right away. So I just go ahead and add 1/2 inch of my seam allowance this way. So I've decided to make use of the full length, okay, because this sleeve is actually exaggerated and big, and by the time we create our puff, the puff right here, okay, so you can see this side we actually need it longer because this part will take the puff. So I will just make my notch, and that will serve as my center center sleeve. That is the center sleeve. So now I'm going to cut out the lining. The lining is going to carry the heart stay. Then I'll show you how to sew this sleeve. People, so I've cut out my lining and I've stayed my lining as well. So this is, you are supposed to use the hardest stay for this if you want to have this full effect. So now I'll go ahead to sew my crinoline. So this is how I'm going to do that. This part of the is the lining. It can serve as lining, it can serve as anywhere, anyone you want to stay. If you want to stay the lining, you want to stay the fabric, so whichever one. So I'll just go ahead and lay this on top of this, right side to right side, and I'll come with my, I'm going to use my crinoline. Okay, so I'm going to sew my crinoline from end to end. This is 3 inches crinoline, so I'm going to double it. I'm going to double it so I have that full effect. So as I've doubled it now, I'm putting 2 crinoline together as one. So I'll go to the machine now to make it a little more firmer or thicker. I'll go ahead and sew now, then top stitch and turn. So you can see the crinoline which I doubled right now to sew this. So I'm going to use this part as lining. Okay, so I will be using this part as lining. So you choose wherever you want to use that lining. So if you are using this part at lining, simply top stitch this way. Can you see? Simply do what? Top stitch this way. So I'll now go over to the machine. I'll flip all the seams to the parts I call my lining, so it carries the weight for me this way at the end of the day. So I'll now go ahead and do what? Stitch or top stitch. So now I'm done top stitching on the side of the lining, so it makes it easy for you now to turn this sleeve and have a well relaxed sleeve. So you can go ahead and do give it a good press as you wish, and you are sure you have your sleeve sitting down, sitting very well. So I'll open up this sleeve. I'm going to match the sides this way. I'm going to match them this way. For a perfect inseam finishing, I'm going to sew from one end to the other and turn. So you can see how I stitch the sleeve. So what I'll just do is to reduce the seam so it's not that too bulky, especially on the parts that we have our crinoline. So I'll just go ahead and turn the sleeve to the right side. So I'll just turn it to the right side. So I've turned it to the right side. So it's all your choice. Wherever you want to have as front or back is all your choice. So you can see how exaggerated this sleeve actually is at the end of the day. So I will now go ahead and make my gathers. Okay, so make sure you match seam line to seam line. You can run a stitch. Okay, you can run a stitch first before you make your pleats. So I'll now go over to the machine. I'm going to run my stitches, then make my gathers. So as you're making your gathers, make sure your pleatings, make sure you note your round sleeve. Okay, don't pleat in everything. Make sure you note your round sleeve. So by the time I'm done pleating, this is what we'll have as the sleeve. So let me do that. All right, so you can see my pleatings. I've made my puff with my pleats now, so you can see the exaggerated sleeve right away. So it depends on you if you want to make it a little more longer. What we actually have here is 15 inches from here to here. So if you want to increase it, you can go ahead and increase it maybe to 20 inches on fold, as exaggerated as you want. So thank you very much for coming to this tutorial. If you are new to this channel, please kindly subscribe, turn on your notification bell to receive videos like this every day. Like this video, share to family and friends, drop a comment on the comment section and your suggestions as well. Thank you once again. See you in the next class. Bye.